thought it'd be fun to just go watch with some friends, just to relax and just have something to watch on a Friday night. But this movie, it transformed a kids movie into something more meaningful than I thought it was gonna be. Now, I don't know. I've only seen a teaser trailer for this movie before I actually watched the full length movie, but I didn't know it was gonna be about parenthood, about friendship, about uh, childhood. And I think that's the thing that drove it the most. Like, I loved, like, when I'm looking at my likes and dislikes list, I didn't really have a lot of dislikes. And even when I did, they weren't really strong. That's how good the movie was to me. Like, there was a lot of things I liked. Like, let's start with the soundtrack. The soundtrack, right when I came out the movie theater, I listened to 6 songs over and over and over again. And the best one was, I think it was Can I Get a Boost or something? But that made the movie super good. I love the animation. I love the animals in the forest that were around the robot. I love Lupita Nyong'o's voice acting. Like, that was on point. Sometimes I couldn't even recognize her because I thought it was Siri sometimes that was voicing the wild robot. But the animals were fun and funny. There was an Avengers like scene in it that I thought was super cool. And I don't want to spoil too much about the movie, but then the wild robot said a really cool quote that, yeah, I mean, when you hear it, you're going to be like, ah, interesting, funny. But this movie, I I never had so many, like, I came out of Transformers 1 and I was thinking this may be the best. And just granted, I haven't seen Inside Out 2 yet, but this might be the best version of Transformers we've seen in a while, and maybe even an animated movie because the animation was really cool in that. But then I watched The Wild Robot, and I really do think it can win an Oscar. I think it can win Best Animated Film, and that's like I said, I haven't seen Inside Out 2 yet, but wow, just this movie was so good. Now let me get into some dislikes just before I like go all out praising it and stuff, but at the start, the pacing felt incredibly fast. Like, at a point, I thought the movie was going to end in 50 minutes. That's how it felt to me. It felt like a really long short film. But then it kept on going and going and going in a good way, not a bad way, but it kept on going. The story kept on developing more, and it just got better. And then there was a scene involving the robot's heart that kind of confused me, but then later on when I got out the theater and thought about it more, it makes sense now. But maybe execution on that probably wasn't the best, but now I got it, so execution was fine. Um, I wish there was a robot that came in at the end of the movie, and I thought it was going to be a little more dangerous than it showed. Um, during the film because it looked like pretty scary robot, kids wise, but it wasn't really that. So I think that was one complaint I had. I wish it was more involved in the movie to maybe give it more of a impact to us. And then the artwork in the first storytelling scene when they were telling the story of like how the robot came to the little baby duck or the little baby geese. I wish the animation was just a little bit better. But those are my 4 complaints, like, and they aren't major compared to what I loved. Like, there was more loves than dislikes, if anything. But you guys have to go see this movie. Like, if you have a mother, a father, if you are a mother or a father and you have kids, take them to go see this movie. Like, I've never, I have before. I've talked to my mom so many times after movies and given my takes and suggested movies to her, but I've never just after a movie got my phone and just texted her, "I love you," just like that. Like I didn't even. And she's like, "Why'd you say that?" Like she loved it obviously, but she was like, "Why'd you say that?" And I was just like, "I just saw a movie that reminded me of you, and I just wanted to say I love you," and that was it. I probably forgot to tell her to go watch The Wild Robot, but you know what? If she watches this, go watch The Wild Robot, mom, for real. And to everybody else, you guys have to go see this movie. Go watch it with friends, go watch it with family, go watch it with boyfriend or girlfriend, whoever it is. You just need to see this movie. And right now it's performing really well. Like I saw a post on Twitter one sec, saying that apparently the movie is overperforming. It was posted by the Hollywood Handle on Twitter. The Wild Robot overperforms and earns 11.3 million on its domestic box office opening day. It's now tracking to earn over 30 million on its opening weekend and becomes the biggest opening for an original animated film post-COVID, surpassing Elemental. And that's huge. I mean, I don't know if it's going to beat Inside Out 2. I would love it too, because that's how much I love this movie. But granted, once again, I haven't seen Inside Out 2. But man, this movie, if it were to get like 500 or 600 million, I'd be happy with that, because I think it was on a $70 million budget or 75 million. I'm not totally sure, but all I can tell you guys is go watch this movie, man. Like, it was that good. And my rating for it out of 10, I gotta give it I'm gonna give it an 8 out of 10. I want to give it a 9 out of 10, but that's like getting close to Into the Spider-Verse range for me. And that's like my number one animated film of all time. Like, I love that movie. But make sure to like and subscribe, y'all. I'd love to post more takes on this movie and others in the future. And I'd love to just get your guys' opinions. So drop down below if you guys loved or hated this movie, and I'd love to talk to you about it. But until next time, take it easy, y'all.